Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? This is Jacob from the Neutral Zone, and this is going to be Sports News with Jacob, a new segment I'm starting. I've always dreamed of being an ESPN broadcaster, and I know it's a hard road to there, so I was just wanting to get experience in front of the camera and maybe, help you guys out. Maybe y'all, listen to me. I don't know. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about Demarco Murray leaving the Cowboys. This is a Cowboys episode, because I'm a big Cowboys fan, so... Sorry for all those people who hate the Cowboys. And there's a lot of them. But I'm going to be talking about DeMarco Murray leaving, Rolando McClain signing back with Dallas, Greg Hardy's new deal, and potential replacements for DeMarco Murray. So hopefully y'all stay tuned. So let's get into it with DeMarco Murray coming first. Okay, so DeMarco Murray, we wanted to pay him $24 million with $12 million guaranteed. Now, DeMarco Murray was looking for more of LaShawn McCoy type money, as LaShawn McCoy signed like a 5-year, $45 million, somewhere around there. And so DeMarco went over to the Eagles. And most people give DeMarco Murray's credit to the offensive line. And I understand that, the offensive line is great. I mean, my grandmother with her left leg cut off and her right hand behind her back could run over 1,000 yards with that kind of offensive line. But DeMarco Murray had about 845 yards after contact, which is a lot of yards. And that means that he broke tackles and he would get away from people. And so it comes to show that he credited himself for 845 yards. Now, 1,000 yards without contact just proves how enormous and massive that offensive line and how good it is. But the 845, and he was on 392 carries. He numerous pass plays. He came in. He was a huge part of the offense. It was like the big three: Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, and DeMarco Murray, with all the supporting pieces like Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams, Jason Witten, in the offensive line. I can't stress that enough. But DeMarco Murray accounted for 392 carries and 13 touchdowns. Now, a lot of people are just like, yeah, DeMarco Murray can be replaced and that he is an injury-prone back. He can be replaced and he's getting older, and there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't re-sign him, but 13 touchdowns and 1,845 yards is hard to replace. I mean, you can pluck a running back out of the draft, but you have no sure identity of what that running back is going to be. And so, DeMarco Murray, I think, is I think we should have signed him back, and I think he would have came back if we would have structured Tony Romo's deal. But I don't think that we already restructured Tony Romo's deal, but I don't think we could have kept DeMarco unless we would have budged away from our price range. I don't think Stephen Jones, Jason Garrett, or Jerry Jones wanted to do that, and so we're stuck with this running back dilemma. Potential replacements for Melvin. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry, I messed up right there. Potential replacements for DeMarco Murray. Todd Gurley. These are in the draft. So we have Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, and I put Adrian Peterson up there just to be funny. Todd Gurley, I think we can rule him out because the first reason is because he is going to we'll have to trade up to get him. We'll have to be trading somewhere around the 15 mark, or we're gonna have to trade somewhere up with like the San Diego Chargers, the Cleveland Browns, because San Diego's gonna get him. If all goes to plan, nobody trades up or anything, San Diego's gonna get him. So that's almost a fact. And so I really don't see Stephen Jones trading up from that second round. I really don't see it. So I'm just going to say that we're just going to rule Todd Gurley out completely. Second player, Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, he was a player from Wisconsin, and he was a great player there. He had the FBS second most all-time running with 2,587 yards rushing. Now, that is a lot of yards. I mean, it's college, but it's still a lot of yards, and he's just a good player overall. He's 6'1", 215, with a 40-yard dash of like 452. 452. That's cooking. Now, if you get down to the 440s, I mean, that's really fast. But if for a running back in the NFL, I'm saying that you need a speed probably around 440 to about 470. I think that you'll have to run that. Unless you're like Marshawn Lynch and you can't get tackled. But I think you just need to have like 40. Your 40 time has to be somewhere in between 470 and 440 to be a premier running back. Now, his bench, he was very strong in the bench. He did 19 reps, which is a lot of reps. I think the highest reps in the whole combine was like 30 reps. So, I mean, that can show you what it is like compared to like a defensive lineman or a, like offensive lineman. That's a lot of reps for a running back. And so his vertical, he's 35 inches. I mean, he could just jump over people. I mean, he has the athletic ability. He's a great athlete. Let's just say that. And he knows how to hold on to the football, which I'm not trying to be judgmental of Demarco Murray, but Demarco Murray had fumble problems. Now, Todd Gurley, he's had an ACL injury in there. That's that. But I don't think Melvin Gordon has had a horrific injury yet, and that's something that you look at because you don't want to pick somebody that's going to go out in the second season with an ACL injury and never be what they were. So he's very strong, he's very fast, and he's a great candidate for replacing DeMarco Murray. The only problem is that we would have to get him in the first round. We would not get him in the second. And that raises some eyebrows about how we need help in the secondary. And we need help in the secondary, and we need help in the pass rush. Now, I'm thinking that with Greg Hardy coming in, which we'll talk about later, that we will not need to rely on our secondary as much as we did last year because our defensive line is actually going to be getting pressure. And so I'm thinking that we could go with Melvin Gordon because with Greg Hardy and DeMarcus Lawrence, I'm thinking they're going to be a wrecking crew. And with Jeremy Mincy playing about like replacement roles for him, and Tyrone Crawford going down the middle, I just believe that it would be a good offensive line on paper. Now, if they could find a way to succeed in real life, that stands to tell. But from what I see, I think that it's going to be a great defensive line as long as Greg Hardy can stay on the field. I think Melvin Gordon would be like an easy pick because it fills a need, and it fills a need with a good player. And I think Melvin Gordon could be a superstar in this league if he works hard and he plays great. Okay, so that's person number 2. And the third person is going to be Adrian Peterson. Now, Adrian Peterson has been rumored about Dallas since like 2009. I mean, Adrian Peterson has always wanted to be in Dallas. Dallas is like his home, and he wishes he could be in Dallas. Now, with all this talk about how he hates the Minnesota Vikings, well, he doesn't hate them, but I mean, he doesn't trust them. His agent says that he doesn't want to be there, and all that has raised eyes. And then with people wondering, well, if Adrian Peterson gets traded, who is he going to get traded to? And Adrian Peterson would either get traded to Arizona or Dallas. Now, I think Arizona would be more likely to give up picks than Dallas because Dallas is all about recruiting and It's more about like recruiting and rebuilding through the draft and free agency. While Arizona, I mean, I don't know their identity, so they could get a running back and they wouldn't have to rely so heavily on their offense. They wouldn't have to rely so heavily on their quarterback, which they have problems keeping on the field with like 3 injuries to their first 3 quarterbacks last year. So it would be either Adrian Peterson to the Cardinals or Adrian Peterson to Dallas. Now, I think that Dallas won't get him. I think that he'll actually stay in Minnesota. I think he'll suck it up and he'll play throughout his contract. I don't think that Dallas would get him. But with Jerry Jones, anything could happen. I mean, he's always looking to make that big player splash, and I don't know if you give up a third and a fourth. You're going to have to give up that first rounder. Now, if you could give up a first and a third, I might do it. First and a fourth, probably. First and a fifth, that's no question you're going to do it. But if they want a first and a second, that's 2 premier like replacements and backups, and assets that you could use for your team all stuck on this one superstar who hasn't played in over 22 months. So, I mean, we do not know how he's going to bounce back from all this child abuse accusations. So, all in all, I think Melvin Gordon is the most likely. Now, they're most likely to replace DeMarco Murray. Now, there is actually one other person in the draft that says he would like to go to Dallas. His name is Ajayi, and he comes from Boise State. Now, that is a dude that he could be a prime candidate because we could get him in the second round. But I still think that Melvin Gordon still has a better physique, and he's a better athlete, and he's just an all-around better runner than Ajayi. And Ajayi's had off-the-field problems, and Melvin Gordon hasn't. So that's what I'm going to say about him. All right. So all in all, I think that Melvin Gordon has the biggest chance to be DeMarco Murray's backup or replacement. Or they might just go with Julius Randle and Lance Dunbar and Darren McFadden, and we'll see how that works out. But so the next topic that I have is Greg Hardy. Now, Greg Hardy is coming in on a minimum base salary. He is being paid about $9.2 million in roster incentives, which means that sorry, I had to swallow. But in roster bonus, which means that as long as he's on the roster, he's getting paid. But if he's getting suspended for what he did last season, one game into last season he got suspended. But if he gets suspended for what he did last season, then we don't have to pay him anything except the minimum base salary and his workout incentives, which would be about $1.3 million. So, all in all, I think this signing was a smart signing, but I don't think it was the morally right one. Okay, because Greg Hardy, the judge convicted him of threatening to kill his girlfriend and that he beat her, and I really do not think that that's the moral choice that we've made. Did we sell our souls? No, we didn't. I mean, we still have some great people on there like Tony Romo and Jason Witten. No matter what you guys say, they're good people, and so I just really think that this wasn't the morally right choice. Now, business-wise, this was a great move, okay? Because even if you don't get the talent that you want, let's just say that he gets suspended 8 games. Well, then you only have to pay him for the 8 games that he plays. It's more of a pay. It's more of you get paid whenever you play type deal. There was basically no guaranteed money except the minimum base salary and the workout bonuses that he can earn throughout the offseason. Now, this was a great deal. This is a great deal business financially because he doesn't count that much towards the cap. He doesn't count towards the cap until he wouldn't count towards the cap. I said it like 3 times, but he wouldn't count towards the cap unless he's actually on the roster, which is great. But as I said again, he was convicted and he got given like 18 months probation for being for doing that, and then he appealed. Because you can do that, and it was that was a bench trial, and then so he appealed for a jury trial, and then it would have been pushed back to like November 2015, but then his girlfriend couldn't be found, and it later came out that he had given her a financial settlement. That just means that he paid her off, basically. And I really do not think that the moral choice was to sign him. Even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were just like, no, I'm out of there. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. We can't have any skepticism coming to our organization. But, Jerry Jones has always been like this. He's always been one of those people that takes the hotheads and the people that were caught with drugs, stuff like that, and try to change them and become like a good figure to him. And I think that was pretty cool, but I still think that he's a beast on the field. Don't get me wrong. Greg Hardy is a great player. 24 sacks in 32 games over the last 3 seasons. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's exactly what Dallas needs. We need a premier rusher that can actually rush the passer and be effective. Now, if we can rush the passer, then our whole season has changed. Like Dallas versus Green Bay, we couldn't beat Green Bay. We almost beat Green Bay, but the reason we couldn't beat Green Bay was Aaron Rodgers had all the time in the world. And if you give Aaron Rodgers a premier quarterback, so we would be going to face in the playoffs, you give them a minute in the pocket or at the most like 30 seconds, they're going to dissect you. They're going to dissect the defense, and they're going to take your and they're just going to dissect the defense, and they're going to pick your secondary apart. And like players like Tom Brady, they know how to. Whenever they're receivers, you can't give them. Okay, I'm stuttering too much. You can't give receivers in the NFL that long to get open, because if you do, they're gonna get open. And if you don't have any pressure, then it defeats the whole purpose, because you're not going to cover the wide receivers for a full minute unless you have about 9 players in the back and only 2 people rushing. That's the only way you're going to cover them. And even then, somebody can mess up on their zone, and you can't trust anything. So from a financial standpoint, I believe that it was a good deal. And from the football standpoint, I believe that it's a good deal. But from a moral standpoint, I really do not believe that we should have made this deal. Okay. So that's my spill on Greg Hardy, even though it had a little bit of me stuttering in it. Sorry, guys. But my last point I'm going to be doing in this episode is Rolando McClain. Rolando McClain has signed a $1 million deal, not a $1 million, a 1-year deal worth $3 million, or pushing on $4 million with incentives. So he was a great player last year. I think his most memorable moment was whenever he picked the ball off versus Seattle to seal the win, and we beat the defending champs, which was one of the high points of his, which is the highest point of his career so far. But I believe that keeping him was a good decision, because I believe that he'll get through the offseason, he'll prepare his body to withstand a whole 16-game season, because he wasn't really ready for it, because he didn't think that he was going to be flung into the starting lineup, because, he's retired twice before he's 25, and he's had a bad injury, stuff like that. So he has injury problems, okay? And so I really wouldn't have paid him money like $5 million. I wouldn't have paid that much for him. Rolando McClain was looking for I think he was looking for about 5-4, somewhere around there, and New England tossed him in. And so Jerry Jones panicked. He was trying to pay him the base salary for 1 year, base salary worth for 1 year. But I don't. As a player, if I had 108 tackles for one team and had an interception, and I was basically one of the leaders of the defense, I think that I would want more than the base salary, because I believe that I would have been above average player. So I really don't think that it was fair to offer him a base salary based on what he has done for the organization. Now, with Sean Lee coming back, it raises some questions. Who's going to play the inside linebacker? Will Sean Lee probably play the inside linebacker? And if Sean Lee does, then how is he trying to transition through there? And the answer to the question is no one really knows. It's not until that first Sunday comes back that we'll actually see how Sean Lee has transitioned in from the middle linebacker to about the outside linebacker role. And I think that the strong linebacker is going to be Anthony Hitchens. I think he's going to be starting at the strong linebacker position. Anthony Hitchens was a surprise rookie last year that we got in the 4th round. Great recruiting, by the way, Jerry Jones. But he started 12 games, and he played in every single game as a linebacker. And I think that it was a good move. And I actually do think Anthony Hitchens, I really like the player, because he is a great linebacker. He plays end to end. He's a nonstop, all go for it all type player. And I just really like him. So I think that he is going to be... I'm not going to give him any predictions. I'm just saying that he's going to be a good linebacker for us, if not a great one. Because I feel like Anthony Hitchens has the basis to be great. So that's my spill on him. But, so Rolando McClain was paid 1 year for $3 million. I think the reason he was paid so much, I think we could have got him for 2.5. But I think the reason that we paid so much was because he visited the defending champions, the New England Patriots, and they were about to offer him a deal, which would have been actually a very smart move on Robert Kraft and the GM over there by signing Rolando McClain, because they have 2 linebackers that they're scared that won't even play in the next 6 months. So that's hard. So they were looking for a linebacker depth. So I think Jerry Jones panicked, and he signed it for $3 million. Now, I really do not think that this was a panic deal at all. I think that Jerry Jones took his time before he offered this to Rolando McClain, but I do think it was the right decision, the outcome, and I think that I think that if we keep our core players, excluding Demarco Murray because we ran him into the ground last season. I mean, God, I mean, we ran him. But anyway, so I think that if we keep our core players, the players that we have relied on last season, I think that we can make a deep run to the playoffs. And with a pass rusher as premier as Greg Hardy, I think that we could even, I don't know, reach the NFC Championship game, maybe even the Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl's a little high, but I think with our offensive line, if we pick up Melvin Gordon, if we pick up maybe a good cornerback in the second or third round, I think that we have a chance to get into the deep depths of the playoffs. And I think we maybe even could get to a championship role. We've already beaten Seattle. Like, who are the premier people in the NFC? I mean, we have Detroit. They lost Reggie Bush and Ndamukong Suh, one of their best offensive players and their best defensive player. We have Green Bay Packers. They haven't lost anybody, but they haven't signed anybody either. So they haven't gotten worse, but they haven't gotten better either. So you have to think that if we barely lost off a bogus call from the ref, I mean, the way the catch rules are worded, that wasn't a bogus call. That was the right call based on like the rules. But the rules are stupid. That is some stupid rules. And let me just tell you right here, they changed the wording. It's still not a catch. Like, you catch the ball, you reach across the pylon, you take 3 steps, and then reach to the pylon, then the ball comes out, and then they call it an incomplete catch because you didn't make a football move, but you dove for the pylon. I just don't understand. But Des Bryant got, that was terrible on his part, how that happened to him. But I really do think that Dallas can make a deep playoff run and even the championship if we keep our core players. Like, we already beat Seattle. We've proven that we can beat Seattle, okay? Seattle was the main people. Now, you might say that we were in a slump. Seattle was in a slump. They had locker room issues, and you might be right, but I still think that we went into Seattle and we beat them. Now, that's hard to do. I mean, there's NFC teams that haven't done that yet. And so, Seattle's a hard team to beat, okay? And then so, who else do we have in the NFC? We have the Saints. They're rebuilding. We have Carolina. Carolina, I really do not think is going to be that big of an issue because Carolina is, they're rebuilding too. Everybody in that division is rebuilding. I mean, if you get to the playoffs, you had an 8-8 season. So in that division, you have San Francisco, who I think is going to get better next year. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think that they'll get past the wild card or the divisional round because they don't have a player like Jim Harbaugh. I mean, not a player, but they don't have a coach that's like Jim Harbaugh. And they have Tom Sula, I think that's how you say it. And I'm really intrigued on how that'll work with them. But so that's basically the NFC in a whole. And, you have the Rams and the Cardinals. Everybody from that division is just great at what they do. And I think that we might even have like three teams from that division making the playoffs because the Rams are a good team. The Arizona Cardinals are a great team. The 49ers, they're going to get better. And the Seattle Seahawks, they're defending Super Bowl. Wait. Yeah, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. No, they didn't. The Patriots won the Super Bowl. Oh, God, I feel stupid. Okay, don't comment down below about that. But that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And please share the video with somebody. I'd like to get noticed. As I already told you, it's my dream to be an ESPN broadcaster. So I'm going to do this probably daily, touching on each topic. Now, as I get bigger, I'm going to be asking for suggestions on what I should do for you guys in later episodes. But for now, I'm going to be doing the topics that I choose. And then whenever I get done, I'm going to be doing topics that you choose. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one on Sports News with Jacob. See you guys later. Bye.